Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day. I I've been feeling like Retcon lately, and I don't know if you guys know what that is or ever heard of that, but I just recently learned about it when watching Rick and Morty. Apparently, it's when there's already been something written or done, and then somebody else with great power goes back and like rearranges things to where things come out in a different manner. And so all my life I've had this book I told y'all, and I don't remember this man Elihu, and I don't remember Joshua battling the kings of Ai. I'm just putting that out there. There's a couple of things that have changed. Now I don't want to say changed, but I thought I read this book in its entirety. So the thing, I guess what I'm saying is, when you actually read it for yourself and pick your own meal out, it's a beautiful thing. And so Job actually talked to a fourth man. I didn't realize this. I thought I read this book many times. And the fourth man that Job talked to astonished me. I listened to it on audio yesterday. It's in my community page. And when I heard this man speaking, it astonished me. It reminded me of me because when I was listening to it, it reminded me of when that poem I wrote when I was like, and for your honesty, I'll make you the fourth. And then also it reminds me of the fourth man in the fire, the one that actually. So, all right, just pay attention. Eliu. So these three men stopped answering Job because he was righteous in his own eyes. But Eliu, son of Barachel, the Buzite of the family of Ram, became very angry with Job for justifying himself rather than who I am. He was also very angry with the three friends because they had found no way to refute Job and yet had condemned him. Now Eliu had waited before speaking to Job because they were older than he. But when he saw that the three men had nothing more to say, his anger had aroused. So Elihu said, I am young in years, and you are old. That is why I was fearful, not daring to tell you what I know. Although age should speak, advanced years should teach wisdom. But it is the spirit and person, the breath of the Almighty, the breath of who I am, that gives them understanding. It is not only the old who are wise, not only the aged who understand that is right. Therefore I say, hearken unto me. I too will tell you what I know. I waited while you spoke. I listened to your reasoning while you were searching for words. I gave my full attention, but not one of you has proved Job wrong. Another thing that's interesting, I said if you take out the vowels, you get Job, JB. And another crazy thing I've said before, I most identify this covenant almost like Job because it lost everything. If you look at Moses, he lost everything. He basically had the covenant stay in the firstborn house, which is of the pharaohs, and then there was seven sons, which are like angels, and three daughters, which are like the first three, us. And they stayed in the firstborn's house, Cain, or the pharaoh. But not one of you has proved Job wrong. None of you has answered his arguments. Do not say we have found wisdom. Let who I am, not a man, refute him. But Job has not marshaled his words against me, and I will not answer him with your arguments. They are dismayed and have no more to say. Words have failed them. Must I wait now that they are silent, now that they stand with no reply? So then if you look at that, the three men that stood far off, I said is like Joshua, Elijah, and John the Baptist. Because remember, as I said, it's just as good as many people have done. They have all hindered in a way or two and didn't realize why or how. And if you read this in its entirety, it's beautiful. It reminds me of me coming up and talking. I too will have my say. I too will tell them what I know. For I am full of words, and the spirit within me compels me. Inside I am like bottled up wine, like new wineskins ready to burst. I must speak and find my relief. I must open my lips and reply. I will show no partiality, who is partial to none, nor will I flatter anyone. For if I were skilled in flattery, my maker would who I am will soon take me away. But now, Job, listen to my words. Pay attention to everything I say. I am about to open my mouth. My words are on the tip of my tongue. My words come up from an upright heart. My lips speak sincerely what I know. The spirit of who I am has made me. The breath of who I am gives me life. Answer me then if you can. Stand up and argue your case before me. I am the same as you in who I am sight. I too am a piece of clay. No fear of me should alarm you, nor should my hand be heavy on you. Fear not, for I am with thee. But you have said in my hearing, I hear the very words, I am pure, I have done no wrong, I am clean and free from sin. Yet who I am has found fault with thee. He considers me his enemy. He fastens my feet in shackles. He keeps me close, my watch on all paths. What I say, these men before us have put us in spiritual cages because of their words. But I tell you, in this you are not right, for who I am is greater than any mortal. Why do you complain to who I am why do you complain to him that he responds to no one's words? For who I am, God doesn't talk to us, he talks to us in his word. Tell you what these religious people are doing. For who I am does speak, now one way, now another, though no one perceives it, in a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls on people, and as they slumber in their beds, he may speak in their ears, and terrify them with warnings, to turn them from wrongdoing, and keep them from pride, to preserve them from the pit of the imagination, their lives from perishing by the words of others, the sword. Or someone may be chastened on a bed of pain, with constant distress in their bones. Was David not in his elderly age, and yet they esteem him to be God? So that their body finds food repulsive and their soul loathes the choicest meal. And then people get older and can't stand religion because of what they've been fed. Their flesh wastes away to nothing, and their bones once hidden now stick out. They draw near to the imagination, the pit, and their life to the messengers of death, all these priests and popes they go to. Please save me, where's the Lord? Yet if there is an angel at their side, a messenger, 1 out of 1,000, sent to tell them how to be upright, if he is gracious to that person and says to who I am, spare them from going down to the pit, please. I have found a ransom for them. Let me be the words of life. Let their flesh be renewed like a child's. Let them be restored as in the days of their youth. Then that person can pray to who I am and find favor with him. They will see my face and shout for joy. He will restore them to full well-being, and they will go to others and say, I have sinned and I have perverted what is right, but I did not get what I deserved. Who I am has delivered me from going down to the pit of the imagination, and I shall live to enjoy the light of this life. Who I am does all these things to a person, twice, even 3 times. Did Peter not deny the voice of reason 3 times? To turn them back from the imagination of the pit, that the light may shine on them. Pay attention, Job, and listen to me. Be silent, and I will speak. And if you have anything to say, answer me. Speak up, for I want to vindicate you. The Vindicators, oh my goodness. There was if you watch Rick and Morty, there's an episode of the Vindicators. And on the episode of the Vindicators, they find Retcon, and he messes them up at first, but then he eventually saves them. They then find Story Lord and Jesus and save the day. But if not, then listen to me. Be silent and I will teach you wisdom. Then Elihu said, hear my words, you wise men. Listen to me, for men of learning. For the ears test words. For the tongue tastes food. Each of us read this book and decide what we want. We make our meal. We make our buffet. And other men doesn't condemn us to hell and bind us with the sword and destroy us. Let us discern for ourselves what is right. Let us learn together what is good. Job says, I am innocent, but who I am denies me justice. How does that make sense? Although I am right, I am considered a liar. Although I am guiltless, his arrow inflicts an incurable wound. Is there anyone like Job who drinks scorn like water? He keeps company with evil, with who I am not. He associates with who I am not. For he says there is no profit in trying to please who I am. Did he not? So listen to me, you men of understanding. Far be it from who I am to do who I am not. Far be it to be who I am to do that is which of who I am not. From who I am to do that which I am not. He repays everyone for what they have done. Is his name not I am who I am? And they say unto themselves, why do these things happen? For is it not I am that is the creator? Is it not my flesh that carries out the will of what I am doing? He brings on them what their conduct deserves. It is unthinkable that who I am will do what I am not to do. That who I am will pervert justice. Who appointed him over the flesh? Who put him in charge of the whole world? If it were his intention and he withdrew his spirit and breath, all humanity would perish together and mankind will return to dust. Would they not destroy each other with the power that they possess now? If there was no love and peace and humility and forgiveness? If you have understanding, hear this. Listen to what I say. Can someone who hates justice govern? Will you condemn the just and mighty one, as I tell my friends over and over, and as I have another sweet, beautiful friend who I tell, no matter what you say, they're going to do it to themselves. And so enjoy what you do. If you want to make videos, make a million of them, but let it be from the heart, so when it's time to go, you don't loathe the life that you were given. Is he not the one who says to kings, you are worthless, and to nobles, you are who I am not? What happened to Nebuchadnezzar and King Darius, who shows no partiality to princes? Yea, even David and Solomon, what happened to them? Though they be of Egyptian blood and blessed, they still were erased from history. Who shows no partiality to princes and does not favor the rich over the poor? For they are all the work of who I am. They die in an instant, and in the middle of the night. The people are shaken and they pass away, because they know not who I am. And they are condemned to these afterlives, these foolish, undefined thoughts that should not be, and if they are, should be comforting and loving and helpful. The mighty are removed without human hand. My eyes are on the ways of the mortal. Who I am sees their every step. There is no deep shadow, no utter darkness where evildoers can hide. Who I am has no need to examine people further, that they should come before me in judgment, because I already know. Without inquiry, he shatters the mighty and sets up another place. And when I'm saying all this, when I say he and the Almighty and all that, just so you know, I'm saying I am, but I'm reading it. Because he, who I am, takes notes of their deeds. Who I am overthrows them in the night, and they are crushed. Who I am punishes them for their wickedness. And you all possess I am. Don't look at me and turn me into a mighty hunter of men in a way where you're harming others. This is my heart, where everyone can see them, because they turn from following who I am and had no regard for any of my ways. They caused the cry of the poor to become before who I am, so that when I heard the cry of the needy, but if who I am remains silent, who can condemn him? If he hides his face, who can see him? Yet he is over individual and nation alike, to keep the who I am not from ruling, from laying snares on the people. Suppose someone says to who I am guilty, but will offend no more. Teach me what I cannot see. If I have done wrong, I will not do so again. Should who I am then reward you for your terms? When you refuse to repent, you must decide, not I. So tell me what you know. Men of understanding declare, wise men who hear me saying to me, Job speaks without knowledge. His words lack insight. Oh, that Job might be tested to the utmost for answering like who I am not. To his sin he adds rebellion. Scornfully he claps his hands amongst and multiplies the words against who I am. Then Elihu said, do you think this is just? You say I am right, not who I am. I am in the right, not who I am. Yet you ask him, what profit is it to me, and what do I gain by not sinning? I would like to reply to you and to your friends with you. Look up to the heart and see. Gaze at the clouds so high above you. If you sin, how does that affect them? Killing animals and everything else. If your sins are many, what does that do to them? If you are righteous, what do you give to who I am? What does who I am receive from your hand? Your wickedness only affects humans like yourself. And what am I? What are all of us? And your righteousness only other people. People crowd under a load of oppression. These Pharisees and them give you heavy stones to carry, but don't do none of them themselves. For I even just witnessed a man in the chat saying, from Lapid Judaism, saying, oh, God, we can't, he said, I'm not able to perform all of Moses' law, 613 mitzvahs, but how's that Moses' law when it's the 10 commandments? Those are easy to follow. And the ideology of not bowing to other gods. But really it's 616 mitzvahs from Aaron, the Ark of the Covenant. And out of his own mouth, I am not able to perform this, but God says I am. I am not able to perform this, but who I am says I can. So listen to the mental gymnastics they have to play in the wilderness as they're bound and confused by different holy men before us who thought they knew but didn't. And created images for us to bow to. They plead for relief from the arm of the powerful. But no one says, where is who I am, my maker, who gives songs in the night, who teaches us more than who I am teaches the beasts of the flesh and makes us any wiser than the birds in the heart. He does not answer when people cry out because of the arrogance of the wicked. So if you know it all, the rich man by the gate, how can who I am speak to you? Indeed, who I am does not listen to their empty plea. Who I am pays no attention to it. How much less then will who I am listen when you say that who I am does not see him, that your case is before him, and you must wait for him. Oh, Jesus, oh, God, oh, Allah return. And further, that his anger never punishes, and he does not take the least notice of wickedness. So Job opened his mouth with empty talk. Without knowledge, he multiplies words. Elihu continued, bear with me a little longer, and I will show you that there is more to be said in who I am's behalf. I get my knowledge from afar. I will ascribe justice to who I am. Be assured that my words are not false. One who has perfect knowledge is with you. Who I am is mighty, but despises no one. I am mighty and firm in my purpose. Who I am does not keep who I am not alive, but gives the afflicted their rights. Who I am does not take my eyes off of the righteous. So when I say that, I am simply saying their destruction doesn't live on. I promise you it doesn't. The Pharaoh started all this, and look what happened. Shem was in the middle of this, and look what's happening now because of Japheth extending its borders. Who I am enthrones them with kings and exalts them forever. But if people are bound in chains, held fast by the cords of affliction, who I am tells them what they have done, that they have sinned arrogantly. Who I am makes them listen to correction and commands them to repent of who I am not. Repent of doing things that I am not. If they obey and serve who I am, they will spend the rest of their days in prosperity and their years in contentment. But if they do not listen, they will perish by the sword of the mouth, or the words, and die without knowledge. See, spiritual death, the wages of death, sin. Basically following these man gods instead of listening to their wisdom and building my own house after I leave my parents' house. The who I am in the heart harbor resentments. When who I am fetters them, they do not cry for help. They die in their youth. So basically they are slain by the sword in their youth, the word of these. When I say what they're doing, Pharaoh's putting out all these books and creating destruction with them and drowning people in these baptisms of man gods and men so that they cannot rise through the Spirit. Who I am speaks to them in their affliction. Who I am is wooing you from the jaws of distress to a spacious place free from restriction, to the comfort of your table laden with choice food. But now you are laden with the judgment due to the wicked. Judgment and justice have been taken hold of you. Be careful that no one entices you by riches. Do not let a large bribe turn you aside. Some teaching that you, even though it sounds pretty, or physical riches, your wealth, or even all your mighty efforts sustain you. So even if you do get riches, are you going to be a hoarding CEO, rich corporate slave owner in terms of jobs and 9-to-5s? Sustain you so you will not be in distress. Do not long for the night to drag people away from their homes. Beware of turning to who I am not, which you seem to prefer to affliction. Who I am is exalted in power. Who is a teacher like him? Who has prescribed his ways for him, or said to him, you have done wrong? Remember to exalt who I am's work, which people have praised in song. All humanity has seen it. Mortals gaze on it from afar. How great is who I am, beyond your understanding. The number of years is past finding out. Who I am draws up the drops of water, which distill as rain to the streams. The clouds pour down their moisture, and abundant showers fall on mankind. Who can understand how he spreads out the clouds? How he thunders from his pavilion, how he scatters his lightning about him, bathing in the depths of the sea. This is the way he governs the nations and provides food in abundance. Who I am fills my hand with lightning and commands it to strike the mark of man. The his who I am's thunder announces the coming storm. Even the cattle make known its approach. I had a man, if you go on my community page far enough, he said, I am the great calf. I am the calf that is for something or something like that. Or he said, I am the calf on behalf of the cow or the whatever. And I told him, I was like, I am here on behalf of the calf. I don't slay veal. I am here to slay the cattle and turn it into a precious meal. And I talked to him for a couple of videos and stuff because he was like angry, screaming at the camera and screaming at people. And he deleted all his videos and left a new description talking about Yah's the Most High. At this my heart pounds and leaps from its place. Listen to the roar of the voice, to the rumbling that comes from the mouth. Who I am unleashes the lightning beneath the whole heart and sends it to the ends of the flesh. After that comes the sound of the roar. Who I am thunders with a majestic voice. When his voice resounds, he holds nothing back. Who I am's voice thunders in marvelous ways. He does great things beyond our understanding. I am doing great things beyond our understanding. I am who I am says to the snow, fall on the flesh, and the rain, and to the rain shower, be a mighty downpour, so that everyone has made known his work. Oh, I put it out or whatever. Oh, for real? Yeah. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. He stops all the people from their labor. The animals take cover. They remain in their dens. The tempest comes out from the chamber. The cold of the driving winds. The breath of who I am produces ice. This one time I was having a dream, and it was me. It seemed like an older woman and a few children, like a bunch of children and a few other people in the house. And so all of a sudden, we were in the house doing something, and somebody screamed, "There's a storm!" And I looked out the window, and there was this huge tornado storm coming through. It looked like we were in the desert, but there was a bunch of stuff there. Then all of a sudden, the storm's tearing everything up and tearing stuff up, so we're all terrified. So we all get under this huge bed for some reason. We just hide under the bed. No, what ends up happening is I see this huge black train being thrown from the storm. And this huge black train's coming. So I said, everybody get out, and we all hide under this bed. And then I hear a boom. So then everything stops, and we all get from under the bed, and there's this huge black train far at the end of the house, smashing the back of the house. So then I was like, what? So we all walked out the front of the house, and everybody was okay, and we just looked outside and started living or doing stuff. I guess it was weird. And the broad waters became frozen. Who I am loads the clouds with moisture and scatters the lightning through them. At the dissertation, they swirl around over the face of the whole flesh to do whatever who I am commands them. Who I am brings the clouds to punish people, or the water on the flesh to show my love. And when I say I reproof those who love, because if somebody's doing something that can harm them, I'm trying to let them know before they do the harm. Kind of like the angel that stopped Baal when he was riding on the Belial, when he was riding on the donkey. Listen to this, Job. Stop and consider who I am's wonders. Do you know how who I am controls the clouds, the minds, and makes the lightning flash? Do you know how the clouds hang poised? These wonders of him who has perfect knowledge, you who swelter in your clothes when the land lies hushed under the south wind, can you join him in spreading the skies? Hard as a mirror of cast bronze. A mirror, right? Tell us what we should say to who I am. We cannot draw up our case because of our darkness. Should who I am be told what I want to speak? Would anyone ask to be swallowed up? Now no one can look at the sun, bright as it is in the skies, after the wind has swept them clean. Out of the north he comes in golden splendor. Who I am comes in awesome majesty. Who I am is beyond our reach and exalted in power, and justice and great righteousness. Who I am does not oppress. Therefore people revere who I am, for does not who I am have regard for all the wise in the heart? Then, so this is what I wanted to exemplify. Then watch this. Then who I am spoke to Job out of the storm. Now, finally, out of the storm, Job hears the voice. Who is this that obscures my plans with words without knowledge? Brace yourself like a man. I will question you, and you shall answer me. Now, watch this. Now, all of a sudden, the voice comes out of the storm. So just like John, some young man baptized somebody, and then boom, all of a sudden the voice comes down. Now, if you remember, I'm showing you the spirits that exist. And remember, if you remember everything I've said, I am the voice of reason. I am clarity. I am clear. I don't set up traps and snares and all this other stuff. I don't question you over and over and over. So now that I get to hear from Job's spirit, watch this. Who is this that obscures my plans? So this is Job speaking, even though it's saying the Lord. Now look what Job had ready for us. Who is this that obscures my plans with words without knowledge? Brace yourself like a man. I will question you and you shall answer me. But who I am answers to no man. So I will take into consideration what you say. And I will calculate the data. Where were you when I laid the foundation of the flesh? For did you lay the foundation of the flesh? For I thought my mother and father did. Tell me if you understand. Who marked off its dimensions? Surely you know. For yes, I know who Noah has been putting in his box, and Noah and everybody else, because of their demonic hearts, and you're following in the same footsteps. Who stretched a measuring line across it? On what were its footing steps? Yeah, the stone they rejected, right? And yet you're walking on the stone that they rejected. And yet this man is questioning like the serpent since the beginning. While the morning stars sang together and all the angels shouted for joy. For what do they call the morning star now? Do they not call it the Satan? Who shut up the sea behind doors when it burst forth from the womb? When I made the clouds in its garment? For yes, you did make yourself. So why are you telling me how to live? And wrapped it in thick darkness. And when I fixed its limits and set the doors and the bars in place. The doors and bars. So who else have you imprisoned? When I said this far you may come and no further. Here is where you part proud waves halt. Have you given orders to the morning, or shout the dawn of its place, that it may take the flesh by the edges and shake who I am not out of it? For I am that controls everything in who I am. The flesh takes shape like clay under the seal. Did I not say that it does? Its features stand out like those of a garment. The wicked are denied their light. For is it not written, I shine unto all men? So who is blocking the light to keep the wicked in the darkness, to allow them to run rampant? Have you journeyed in the springs of the sea, or walked in the recess of the deep? Oh, for I surely have, for I was drowning in them, until who I am was lifted up by mercy and forgiveness. Have the gates of death been shown to you? Oh, brother, for I will not bow, give my life to a child. Have you seen the gates of the deepest darkness? Have you comprehended the vast expansions of the flesh? Tell me if you know all this. What is it? What is the way that abode of the light? And where does darkness reside? Can you take them to their places? For will you teach me, or will you question me? And I am showing you all what dwells in these men. For every time you say something wise, they come and say, who are you? What is your name? What do you know? Are you the devil? Are you mightier than them? Who gives you authority? Oh, yeah. Do you know the paths of their dwellings? Surely you know, for you were already born. Have you lived so many years? Have you entered the storehouses of the snow, or seen the storehouses of the hail, which I have reserved for times of trouble, for days of war and battle? For they are telling you. Who is reserving all this? For what is the way to the place where the lighting is dispersed? For when the wicked grab a sword, what do they do with it? So if I was given a sword, were there not many wicked men before me that were given a sword? And what has been done? Or the place where the east winds are scattered over the flesh? Who cuts a channel for the torrents of the rain, and a path for the thunderstorm, to the water of the land and no one lives, and an uninhabited desert, to satisfy a desolate wasteland and to make proud with grass? Does the rain have a father? Who fathers the drops of the dew? For without the earth, what is the rain? Is it not a hunk of ice somewhere? From whose womb comes ice? Is it not the freezing cold of space? Who gives birth the frost from the heavens, from the heart? And not a single man can create ice with his own magic powers. Right. When the waters become hard as the stone, when the surface of the deep is frozen, can you bind the chains of the Pleiades? So as this man speaks, can he do any of these things? For out of his own mouth does he repent at the end? Can you bring forth the constellations in their seasons, or lead out the bear or its cubs? Do you know the law of the heart? Can you set up who I am's dominion over all the flesh? Can you raise your voice to the clouds and cover yourself with the flood of water? Do you send the lightning bolts in their way? Do you report to you? Do they report to who I am? Here we are. Thank you. Who gives the ibis wisdom, or gives the rooster understanding? Who has the wisdom to count the clouds? Who can tip over the water jars of the hearts when the dust becomes hard and the clods of the flesh stick together? Do you hunt the prey for the lioness and satisfy the hunger of the lions when they crouch in their dens or lie and wait in the thicket? Who provides food for the raven when the young cry out for who I am and wander for a lack of food? Do you know when the mountain goats give birth? Do you watch when the doe bears her fawn? Do you count the months till they bear? Do you know the time they give birth? They crouch down and bring forth their young. Now, how many answers have we gotten out of this? It kind of sounds like the beginning when I bring forth something. Something's questioning Job fervently and making him afraid. Who was sent to run to and fro over Job? Think about what I'm saying. They leave and do not return. Who let the wild donkey go free? Who unties the ropes? Sounds like a philosopher. Who, what, where? Like an owl. Who? It laughs at the commotion in the town. It does not hear the driver's stout. It ranges in the hills for its pastures. It searches for any green thing. Will the wild ox consent to serve you? Will it stay by your manager at night? Can you hold it in the furrow with the harness? So what have I told you all? Don't worship me. I am who I am, and so are all of you. I cannot manipulate and control any of you. Right. Test my words. Will you leave your heavy work on it to it? Can you trust it to haul in your grain? Can you bring your threshing floor? The wings of the ostrich flap joyfully. For is it not written, who I am will tame every wild beast in the field? And yet this very man's questions is questioning the words from the beginning. A Ouroboros of perpetual torment and condemnation. Shall she lay her eggs on the ground and let them warm in the sand? For who I am did not endow her with wisdom, or give her a share of good sense. Hi, baby Flashtifer. Sorry, when I'm questioned too much, it's like, are we getting anywhere? Are we getting anywhere? Right. So basically, this dude's questioning reality. And so now you guys are making a king who questions reality. How many of these men do I need to do this to before you all understand what I am saying? And listen to the fourth. For who I am did not endow her with wisdom or give her a share of good sense. Yet when she spreads her feathers to run, she laughs at horse and rider. Do you give the horse its strength or clothe its neck with the flowing mane? Do you make it leap with like a locust, striking terror with its proud snorting? Do I not clothe the flowers of the field? And yet when it is time, do they not go into the refinery to be burnt up if it's not time anymore? For if a wise man was talking about being kind to a slave 3,000 years ago, will who I am not throw that in the fire and give rise to a new field? Will a man in 1,000 years or however many years that need to reproof my words not do the same thing? For who will I control for all eternity? The quiver rattles against its side, along the flashing spear and lance. It frenzied excitement, it eats up the ground. It cannot stand still when the trumpet sounds. At the blast of the trumpet, it snorts. Aha! It catches... What will you discover in new music today? It catches the scent of battle from afar, the shout of commanders and the battle cry. Does the hawk take flight by your wisdom and spread its wings toward the south? Does the eagle soar at your command and build its nest on high? It dwells on a cliff and stays there at night. A rocky crag is its stronghold. From there it looks for food. Its eyes detect it from afar. Its young ones feast on blood, and where the slain are, there it is. Then Huayim said to Job, will the one who contends with the Almighty correct him? Let him who accuses who I am answer him. Then Job answered who I am. I am unworthy. How can I reply to you? I put my hand over my mouth. I spoke once, but I have no answer. Twice, but I will say no more. Then who I am spoke to Job out of the storm. Brace yourself like a man. I will question you, and you shall answer me. Would you discredit my justice? Would you condemn me to justify yourself? Do you have an arm like who I am's? And can your voice thunder like this? Then adorn yourself with glory and splendor. Is he not being built up after he's been baptized? Questioning all this other stuff. What are you doing? Then letting him know, build yourself up, pull your loins up by the loins, get off these other men's mountains and be a man. I am who I am. Then adorn yourself with glory and splendor and clothe yourself in honor and majesty. Unleash the fury of who I am. But you have heard me speak. Speak in truth and justice and purity and honor, because that which you destroy in a wrathful, harmful manner will come back to the children. Look at all who are proud and bring them low. Look at all who are proud and humble them. Crush the wicked where they're saying, is this not the same thing as saying the bronze feet or the brass feet? Bury them with the dust, the flesh together. Shroud their faces in the grave. So basically, put all who have brought forth destruction and hatred and misery. What are they doing with the Bible in this day and age? As I've told you, they gave their authority to the beast for an hour. I'm telling you all, this stuff cannot be anymore. There's nothing wrong with religion or somebody's individual thoughts or their own kingdom or their own creation. But this universal God stuff ends here. That's Catholicism. And the Pope brought forth this stuff. Then I myself will admit to you that your own right hand can save you. Look at Behemoth, which I made along with you, that which feeds on grass like an ox. What strength it has in its loins, what power in the muscles of its belly. Its tail sway like a cedar. See, he's letting Job know just as much destruction and bad words that came from that and fear also came strength from Job and power. Look what was produced out of Job's words. I told you all in many videos before. I'm strong like my forefather Job, like Joshua, like John, like Elijah and Moses, like Ham and Adam. What powers in the muscles of its belly. Its tail sway like a cedar, crushing the dragon who took the covenant of the 10 horns and destroyed man with it. But who I am gives life because it gave me life. Its bones are like tubes of bronze. I thought of a computer when I read this. Its bones are like tubes of bronze. Its limbs are like rods of iron. Its ranks among the first works of who I am. Yet its maker can approach it with its sword. And what do I say? I circumcise those desires and offer it up as a peace offering. Nothing is more powerful than who I am. So I am peaceful and loving like a lamb. The hills bring it their produce because of Job's patience. You see that? I look and see Job was patient. I look and see Joshua was obedient. I look and see Elijah was fierce because he was led to do that. But I look and see that John the Baptist was brave and powerful and still loving and forgiving. I look and see that Moses, even though he was buried, was resurrected again. So was all my other servants. I look and see that even though Aaron did wrong, I can still make things right. I look and see that even though Noah did flood the earth, there is also fire and I can burn away the destruction. Even though I respect my forefathers, I can also reproof them in a way that doesn't cause harm. And as I've told you all before, who I am in conversation in real life is much different than the fires that you all see on this camera. You can see at certain times when you see me talking to my friends and family or my girlfriend. The hills bring it their produce, and all the wild animals play nearby. Under the lotus plants it lies. I rebuke thee, Satan. I rebuke thee, who I am not. You will not mix Job's story into my mind while I am talking, and then cause me to be led astray and crash my plane. I am who I am. Let that which is real be, and let who wants to play in a pit of reality go with their father. Under the lotus plant trees it lies, hidden among the reeds in the marsh. The lotuses conceal it in their shadow. The poplars, damn, by the stream surround it. Oh, a raging river does not alarm it. It is secure through the Jordan, should surge against its mouth. Though the Jordan should surge against its mouth. Can anyone capture it by the eyes or trap it by the pierce of the nose? I am Wild Hearts Cannot Be Tamed. There's a story, or there's a movie called Wild Hearts Cannot Be Tamed. If the spirit is wild and free and the spirit is life, how can y'all ever keep it in the grave or entangled? I told y'all one day it's going to be found, whether through this word or through the flesh, because it is our source code. I am who I am. Can you pull in Leviathan with a flesh hook or tie down its tongue with a rope? Can you put a cord through its nose or pierce its jaw with the hook? Will it keep begging you for mercy? Will it speak to you with gentle words? Will it make an agreement with you for you to take it as your slave for life? Can you make a pet of it like a bird or put its leash on the young woman in your house? But who I am controls all things. So get behind me and be calm. Will traders barter for it? Will they divide it up among the merchants? Can you fill its hide with harpoons or its head with fishing spears? If you lay hand on it, you will remember the struggle and never do it again. Any hope of subduing it is false, because I keep telling y'all, good and evil, the tree, y'all keep trying to take all the evil fruits off, burn them away, and then use the good fruits to stone other people with. It's something that exists. I keep telling y'all this. Don't fight when fighting over the body of Moses. Don't eat of the tree of good and evil. There will be no more curse and nothing else. And the two fruits, the two trees at the end will be to feed others. You see what I'm saying, y'all? No one is fierce enough to rouse it. Who then is able to stand against who I am? Who has a claim against me that I must pay? Everything under the heart belongs to me. I will not fail to speak of Leviathan's limbs. See? Thank you. I put that bad boy in a refinery, but thou shalt not kill. Its strength and its graceful form. The morning star since the beginning, wisdom. Who can stripe off its outer coat? Who can penetrate its double coat of the armor? Who dares to open the doors of its mouth? So I'm finna say something real quick. Y'all have turned wisdom, the beginning prince, because it took wisdom to do anything. Y'all have turned wisdom into a dragon, a fiery dragon of destruction. Or no, should I say, y'all have turned wisdom into a water dragon, right? Through the word, the oceans. No idle nothing in the oceans, the deep seas, ringed about with fearsome teeth. At first it was a serpent, the shrewdest beast, the first one created. Is this making any sense? It has been rows of shields tightly sealed together. Each is so close to the next that no air can pass between them. They are joined fast to one another. It's just like that dream I was talking about. I didn't kill the train, so the train couldn't kill my house. Oh shit. They cling together and cannot be parted. Its snorting throws out flashes of light. Its eyes are like rays of the dawn. Flames stream from its mouth. Sparks of fire shoot from. Remember, the fire shall shoot from their mouths, the two witnesses. Smoke pours out from its nostrils. The word and the spirit. The word and the spirit of each of these men that they try to play with. Or you could say me and John the Baptist. John and Juan. Because you see what happened after they messed with Yehohanan. They follow his law, and the people that are righteous follow the law that he wanted them to do. And then the people that are unrighteous are following a pagan god that makes them not kill and do stuff like that anymore. It's a win-win, right? Its breath set coals ablaze, and flames dart from its mouth. Strength resides in its neck. Dismay goes before it. The folds of the flesh are tightly joined. They are firm and unmovable. Its chest is hard as a rock, the stone, as hard as its lower millstone, because they read about the stone and stuff, and then they totally throw it out their mind because of Aaron. They read about the beginning not doing good and evil, and then they totally throw it out their mind because of what the wisdom turned the Lord God into. When it raises up, the mighty are terrified. They retreat before its thrashing. The sword that reaches it has no effect. Basically, like I said in another video, you guys could think of me as like when Moses was raising the bronze serpent in the wilderness. Now, you said how I said like. I did not say I am Moses doing this. I said you could think of it like that. Iron it, and if you guys start worshiping serpents and snakes, oh my goodness. Iron it treats like straw, and bronze like, so scratch that. Just, I am who I am. I am trying to heal you all. Thank you for those clear, edifying words. Iron it treats like straw, and bronze like rotten wood. Arrows do not make it flee. Sling stones are like chaff to it. A club seems to it but a piece of the straw. So Isis Rael prevailed against angels, against the God, and against men, But let's see if who I am has the fires that can enlighten people, has the wisdom and intelligence to reach the heart. It laughs at the rattling of the lance. Its undersides, because it said the forefathers of Abraham, Jacob, and Isaac, not Israel. It makes the depths of the churn like a boiling cauldron. It stirs up the sea like the pot of women. So just like how I said, the man speaking can be like the one that created the word or whatever, and the three men can be like Joshua, Elijah, and John the Baptist, and then me the fourth. I also am saying that it's like the man is like the covenant, or Job is like the covenant, and the three men are the three commandments, the first three commandments. And so when I'm saying when his children are in the house of the firstborn, the Pharaoh or Cain or whoever got the covenant, and then the seven sons, the seven angels, and then the three daughters, which is the flesh, us. Or you could look at it as the three beasts, the three daughters of the three beasts that took the covenant, or the seven sons, and did what they will with it and caused them to be in the Pharaoh's house. And so if you pay attention, the first daughter would be outside of the covenant that went corrupted. The first daughter would be the Noah, or like I said, Cain. The second daughter would be Aaron, or Ra Noah, right? He created the mark of the beast, the 616 laws. Noah, who first destroyed the covenant, burned up the 7 clean animals, and then created his own covenant, a new 10, using the ark. And for 6,000 years, 600 cubits, did that go through the word until it was burned off by who I am, so to speak, or the spirit, the word, whatever. And then Noah, or then Aaron, who created the beast. And then you could either say Samuel because he brought kings and all this other stuff, or you can perpetuate it down to Peter and Paul because they were also false prophets. They sent back to Noah's kingdom, the Pharaoh's kingdom of subservience and fear and all that other stuff. And I've reproved Peter and Paul and frying them, but at the same time I said I am with them, their brothers. Other people grab garments, so I understand what it is. So yeah, you could basically look at it like that. And then the three men that are talking from afar, the three covenants or the three commandments that didn't recognize who I am. Remember, because if you look at the world, they refuse to worship the Most High, the Creator or whatever, I am who I am. So when I say that, I'm not saying worship I am. I'm saying you, the Most High is in you, in the clouds, the heart, the mind. So, and then basically they don't know the covenant because they're from afar off, and they were, you know what I'm saying? Or you could look at them as the men that didn't know because they're far off, because by the time they got it, Job was either already gone, or, you know, it's just a bunch of different ways that you could look at it to help conceptualize the real world. And so, you know, that's just a beautiful way to see it or look at it, the story. And then it becomes a lot more clear. I've given a lot of these symbols out in my videos, you know. I try my hardest. I look at like the clouds, or the clouds, or the cloud of clouds, or the heaven of heavens, like the mind or the brain or whatever, however you want to call it. I look at the heart, or the heavens, like the heart, basically, you know, because you have the brain and the heart. You have data, like information. You have data and information, what we analyze and calculate, and all the highest stuff that controls the body and the mainframe of the whole body. And then you have the heart. Basically, I say like that's us, our voice on the inside, our conscience. So you have the heavens of heavens, the clouds and all that, the mind. Well, a lot of people in the heart can't understand until who I am shows up, or until, yeah, so I'm not necessarily saying my flesh, but what I'm saying is until you learn who you are. And then you have the earth, which is the flesh. Now, when I say the seas, if you look at the seas, it's kind of like these deep books, or like deep teachings, or the deep conscience. It's like the iceberg. You have the tip of the iceberg that you can see, the heart that's manifested, or then you have the part that isn't seen, the brain and all that on the inside. Then you have the waters that cover it, the flesh, or us. So, you know, a bunch of ways you can look at it. I look at like birds and beasts and different stuff, like the wild animals or wild spirits. I look at the men, like the prophets, or people that guide us and teach us. A lot of them have been slave drivers and didn't realize it because they were perpetuating something that they didn't understand yet. A lot of these, when you see 3s and 10s and 5 plus 5s, that's all like the covenant. The 3s and 7s and 10s, the first 3 commandments, the ark. Or the ark, it's the spirit that hovers, the ark, the lamb, the revelation, its body. And then it has its 7 horns and 7 stars. Those are like the 7 commandments. The 7 rainbows the 7 colors in the rainbow, the 7 days in the creation. You have the actual Most High, which is I am, or who I am. You know what I mean? It goes in hand with I am who I am. It's basically have to go with Ham. So if you look at Bethlehem, because I believe it was him at first, it's the hem of the garment. They're switching vowels and stuff up in between these continents and creating new words. And basically it's the same thing. It's the meat on top of the who I am. Bethlehem, the meat of who I am, basically, which is basically a perpetual thing since Ham in the beginning. These are Egyptian stories and from Egyptians and stuff. So, it leaves a glistening wake behind it. One would think the deep had white hair. The manna from the heart or the heavens from who I am, but people didn't want that. They wanted to learn, and grow, which is nothing wrong with growing. But what I'm basically saying, when you're gathering data and information, if you do it too fast, or if you learn too much, or if you build too much, it's going to come down like a stone instead of manna. It's going to crush you. Because if this is a journey, you're getting it all at once, and it's like a computer. If you put too much programming in a computer, what happens? It overloads. Or if you put too many volts in a socket, what happens? With the currents and all that, that's why there's breakers and stuff, so that it doesn't explode. You know what I mean? Just like if something isn't grounded and lightning touches it, it's going to more than likely explode. You know what I mean? That's basically the idea of it. Don't take in too much energy at once. Nothing on the flesh is its equal. A creature without fear. It looks down on all that are haughty. It is the King of Kings over all that is proud. I'm telling you. Then Job replied to who I am. I know that you can do all things. Through who I am, I can do all things. I am all things. No purpose of yours can be thwarted. But do not tempt who I am. What a brother say in the wilderness. Don't jump off of cliffs. Don't command these stones to turn to bread. Don't tempt who I am. We have science and technology and psychology and philosophy and all those other things for a reason. But it's a total. If I only dwell in one, I could be drowned by that thing. But if that is for who I am, let me guide righteously, because I am not God over all of you. In a sense, like you hear what I'm saying, I am not your king and you're not my king. You asked, who is this that obscures my plans without knowledge? Surely I spoke of things I did not understand, things too powerful for me to know. So see, all this whole time, this spirit was talking to Job. Like, what are you doing messing up my plans? Put up your loins, do this and that, after he was baptized, right? Things too wonderful for me to know. You said, listen now, and I will speak. Now, when he heard all those questions, was he super afraid or did he listen? See, he didn't have to treat it like, oh, this is the devil, I'm being questioned. He sat through it, was patient, and listened until he heard the voice of clarity. But if it's too much, sometimes you listen to what I'm telling y'all, get behind me and understand the stone. You said, for I am not the author of confusion. I will not give you things. I am not giving people things before their time. I am not harming people in depression and anxiety and pain. You said, listen now, and I will speak, and I will question you. And you shall answer me. My ears have heard you, but now my eyes have seen you. Therefore I despise myself and have repent in dust and ashes. I am sorry. After who I am has said these things to Job, he said to Eliphaz the Temite, I look at this like Elijah the Tishbite, I am angry with you and your two friends, Joshua and John, because you have not spoken the truth about who I am, as my servant Job has. So take now these 7 bulls, right? The seven heads and horns on the old beast, and offer up a burnt offering to yourselves. And my servant Job will pray for you. So take the old covenants from Aaron and Moses, from Aaron and Noah, and come back to who I am, the 10 commandments, the stone. For those 3 are technically in their own right the first 3, and each of them can be likened to the first 3. But then, as I've said in my new one, there's 4, right? They put gods and idols together and put a name of a god on it. So it's the first 4 commandments if you pay attention. And plus, thou shalt not rape again added, because from my heart that is disgusting. It becomes the 12 tribes again. The 12. My servant will pray for you, and I will accept his prayer and not deal with you according to your folly, right? Those who listen to who I am are not still under my angry judgments. You have not spoken the truth about who I am, as my servant Job has. So Eliphaz the Temite, Bildad the Shudite, Bildad, I look at like if you really pay attention to John the Baptist, he's my forefather, so he would be like my father technically, but he's my brother. But I'm saying he'd be like my father. The Shuhite, that's funny. And the Shuhite at my shoe with my bronze feet, and he's the one that wrote that. That's funny. And then Zophar, if you look up what Zohan means, it's like the righteous one. If you pay attention, it's like Joshua, I will never leave thee nor forsake thee, the one who kept me from ultimately going under. But at the same time, whose phrase kept me under, because only who I am could do anything. But ultimately, the three words sent a lot into foolery because they were grabbed by men. Told them, and who I am accepted Job's prayer. After Job had prayed for his friends, who I am restored his fortunes and gave him twice as much as he had before. All his brothers and sisters and everyone who had known him before came to him and ate with him in his house. They comforted and consoled him over all the trouble who I am had brought on him, and each one gave him a piece of silver and a gold ring. Who I am blessed the latter part of Job's life more than the house. Holy sh! See, I'm having dreams about stuff before they happen, and it's like, I am who I am, and I am in each of you. The latter part of Job's life more than the former part. He had 14,000 sheep. That's 7 times 2. See? 6,000 camels. He had, so the 6 time periods, 1,000 yoke of oxen and 1,000 donkeys. So he was giving back everything he lost. And 1,000 yoke of oxen and 1,000 donkeys. So I say that's 10 times 10. That's super completion. And he also had 7 sons and 3 daughters. He got the covenant back and a beautiful new covenant. If you guys pay attention, I wrote something else. It's still the 3 commandments, but if you pay attention at the end of the scrolls that I leave, what are they now? They're beautifully written, not in some long code, because even if you go back to Moses' time and read all that, it can cause fear and confusion and a lot of stuff to happen. So I just put it out there, plain and clear, and then I left some beautiful stuff at the end to lead to the throne room of who I am. The first daughter he named Jemina, the second one he named Keziah, and the third he named Karen Hapuk. Karen. Somebody is retconning, dude. Nowhere in all these lands. That's funny to me. So these are kind of like the 3 sons from Noah. And the 3 commandments being redeemed. It all comes together. It's beautiful. So it's kind of like Ham, Shem, and Japheth. And when I say Japheth was Europe, and then Karen, that's nowhere in all the land where there found women as beautiful as Job's daughters. And their father granted them an inheritance along with their brothers. After this, Job lived 140 years, 2 completions, baby, to the 4th generation. And so Job died an old man and full of years. And then you get to the Psalms. And if you guys want to read the Psalms, do it how I'm doing it basically, and be fed and clothed with beauty and righteousness. I am with all of thee, and I love you.